Ba, 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 ba. We have a spooter to kill.
With haste.
There he is. Okay, let's do a long rest.
One horn, the
Oh.
stink of Avernus, Advocatus Diaboli.
Well, I'll be God's damned. The blade of frontiers. Thought I'd shaken you for good. That'll teach me to underestimate you.
Karlach, the archdevil Zariel's gladiator, come to burn the Sword Coast to ash.
You got it all wrong, Will. Karlach's not about to hurt anybody.
Well, not counting the fuckers that need a good hurting.
Shut it, devil. I know your kind. A heart darker than a shadow's nightmares. You'd cut a child's throat just to taste the blood.
A devil? I didn't take the blade for a fool. I'm...
A great fire roars through you. The fire of the first hell. You are Karlach, tearing through demons across a blood-red landscape of fire and volcanic cinder. The front lines of the blood war. With every swing of her axe, Karlach fulfills Mistress Zariel's purpose.
Proof, clear as summer sky. It's over, Karlach. It's time you feel the sting of the blade.
I've tried to tell you. I'm not what you think I am.
Another vision. Karlach's blade rays
Oh boy.
slicing through devils, Zariel's servants, as her eyes dart around, seeking escape. Will shudders with Karlach's desperation. She is a victim of the blood war, not an agent of it.
By Balduran's helm, No, I will not be tricked.
You saw the truth. I may be an effective soldier, but I never wanted to serve Zariel. Legged it away from her the first chance I got.
And yet you served.
Stand down, you saw what I saw. Karlach is not a danger.
Will catches his breath and his lips straighten. Sheer dread twists his face.
No! Devils cannot be trusted!
Oh god, here we go. Gods, you're stubborn. Karlach's not a devil and you know it.
Would you listen to sense? This doesn't have to end badly for either of us. You know monsters better than anyone. Can't you look in my eyes and see I'm not a devil?
You don't know what this means. You don't know what you're asking me to do.
I'm asking you to live, Will. I don't want to hurt you. And to be frank, I'd rather not find out how the blade got his name. I swear to you, on all I am not what you think.
Shit! Shit. You really are no devil, are you? I've been deceived.
Oh,
Of course you have.
thank the gods. Thought I was gonna have to take your head.
You would have died in the attempt. But there have been enough threats today.
Truce then, eh?
Aye. Truce. I see the good in you, Karlach. I promise not to lose sight of it. Even when the hells burn hottest.
Ooh, that could have been bade, really bade.
Will's brows furrow as your minds connect. He sees the burning embers of Joaquin's rest, then Floric's face as she tells you of Ravengard's abduction.
Hells. Older Ravengard's been taken.
Yes, Drow set fire to the inn and stole away with the Duke.
Then we need to seek him out and get him to safety. You see, Grand Duke Ravengard is my father. I know I haven't said. Our relation was no matter of pride, not least for him.
Excuse me, what? Dude. Curious, I'd heard Duke Ravengard's son left the city.
You heard right. My father and I were close once upon a time, until he disowned me and cast me out of Baldur's Gate. Such a rift isn't so easily mended. But it's not so wide that I'd let my own father suffer at his captor's hands.
What do you think your Drow want with your father?
I've been asking myself the same question. What makes a Duke of Baldur's Gate so interesting to the Drow? Even the houses of Men's Oberanzen would have little use for my father. No, this is no Drow plot. These absolute nutters, these true souls are behind his abduction. His absence alone will sow chaos in the city. If they were to infect him, he could lead Baldur's Gate to ruin. All the more reason to find him. The Absolute has seized not just my father, but the future of the Sword Coast.
You shouldn't keep secrets like this from me, Will.
I know, and you're right. When I look into a mirror, I see two faces. I see the Blade of Frontiers, a man hunting the fiends who prey on the weak and claw at the coast. And I see Will Ravengard, a memory of a memory, a man who belongs to the past. I wanted you to know the Blade, not the shadow he left behind. I'm all for it.
What was it like being the son of the Grand Duke?
Not so enchanting as you'd think. The Portiers, the Caldwells, they were the blue bloods hosting the fancy balls and drinking from gold goblets. Father's the son of a blacksmith, born with barely a coin in the coffers. He made a name for himself among the Flaming Fist, brave as Baldur and stubborn as a deep Rothay, daring, outspoken, but hardly posh. I spent more time dueling with father than I did rubbing elbows with lords. Not to say I didn't develop a taste for good wine and the talent for courtly dance.
Now you're the Blade of Frontiers. Quite a change, don't you think?
Yes and no. Father taught me the 4 pillars of power. Courage, insight, strategy, justice. He reckoned I'd follow in his footsteps. First as a fist marshal, then as a duke. Vanquish evil, maintain order, save the world. But a duke makes bedfellows with more monsters than he slays. Father called it diplomacy. I called it hypocrisy. In the frontiers, there is no posturing, no diplomacy. I slay monsters. I don't consort with them. Well, not when I can avoid it.
What do you make of Raphael?
He brings to mind a story. The Devil with the Silver Tongue. An old fairy tale my father read to me. The kind with a hero, a villain, and a moral. A farmer made a deal with the devil, so the story goes. In exchange for the farmer's dearest fruit, the devil granted him a bottomless coin purse. The farmer's dearest fruit, naturally, was no apple nor peach, but his beloved daughter. We can learn a lot from fairy tales. don't you think?
With the right teacher, yes. What are your thoughts on the devil, Will?
Refuse him. No matter how tempting the offer, no matter how delicious the feast he lays out for you, the cost will be too great.
Don't worry, I have no interest in the devil's deal.
That's because you still have hope. But when he becomes your last hope, remember this. He'll require of you only what you're least ready to part with, and then require more still. You might think you'd give up anything for a cure, but the devil won't take just anything. He'll take everything.
Tell me, how did you come to be the Blade of Frontiers?
My father once said, one does not pursue a champion's life. One merely answers its call. So it was for me. After my exile, I was hunting near the Cloakwood. I heard a child crying out from a lone farmstead. I found him in the fields, flanked by goblins. His mother's corpse bled into the soil next to him. I don't remember much of the battle, but I remember drying the boy's tears after.
What act could be finer than saving a life? You must have felt proud.
Proud? No. Angry. Angry at the monsters preying on innocents. Angry at the so-called good gods for tolerating the cruelty of the evil. Angry at myself that it took so long for me to see the coast suffering. The frontiers demanded a blade, and so I heeded.
Fine. It's nice to finally put a face to the name.
And it's nice to meet someone of your talents. Having a worm wriggling in my skull didn't instill much confidence in the days ahead. With you as my ally, the future looks a little less daunting.
Glad Will saw sense. Even more glad he decided to stick around. Takes a pretty slick mover to track down old Karlach.
Does it? You're pretty loud.
Fair. But still, the man's got a reputation for being lethal with that blade. I'm glad it's on our side.
Good thing for Will that Karlach called a truce. A tiefling that mighty would shred him to pieces and burn the remains. Now, what did you need?
You know much about the Mind Flayers?
I understand much beyond your comprehension. More to the point, I know the cure for our condition. It is imperative we locate a creche. You do well to observe more and question less.
You look so unusual. Githyanki are rare in these parts.
I expect I am your first.
Never heard of your kind until my capture.
I suppose I am as alien to you as you are to me. I know of your kind, but I do not often encounter them. That large, fleshy nose of yours looks like a mistake.
Come on now, it isn't that large.
Decadent, then. Lacking in economy. Like so much of this world and its undisciplined people.
Damn. These dreams linger in my memory. Do you think that strange figure will come back?
It is a certainty. I had assumed our parasite served a Geich elder. but I believe they serve a greater master still.
Greater Master, who or what could that be?
A question that burns in my belly day and night. Elders and collectives abide by their own tenets. It would require a powerful creed to unite them. And now this voice, this creed, finds our own ears. If it reaches this plane, it may reach others.
You said you're going to share your bunk with Asterion.
So I did, and he served his use.
Okay.
Most enthusiastically, I might add.
Okay.
I may even avail myself of his talents again, should he keep his fangs off my flesh.
Do you know what happens if we don't find a cure?
Yes, in great detail. It starts with a fever and memory loss. Then you start to hallucinate. Your hair falls out, and you bleed from every orifice. Your bones will change form. Your jaw will split to allow room for 4 great tentacles. All skin will turn to gore and be shed to reveal new flesh underneath. Then you have ceased to exist, and a mind flayer is born.
That sounds awful. How are you so calm?
Because I do not intend to let this happen. Not to me, and if you stick with me, not to you. We must find my kind and be rid of the parasite. It's as simple as that. The first symptoms should have long since started, though. That is what puzzles me.
You're worried we haven't changed? This is good news.
Yes, if you give it no further thought. But anomalies lead to surprises. Bad surprises. Besides, what hasn't happened may yet come to pass.
Very good.
Ah, my good fellow. Quite the cozy setup you have here. I'll just make myself comfortable. Thank you so much.
Ah. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? You are. Oh. Nice. Very good.
You wish to speak? With such stimulating company? Never better.
It's still kind of crazy weird to me that I can't actually have him join me.
You've been witness to a pantomime, I'm sorry to say. And I've played my part all too poorly.
What's that? What's that supposed to mean? Lay it out plainly, Will.
It means that a reckoning's coming. And I'll be the one to pay up. One night soon, when we make camp, the veil will be lifted, and I'll pay my penance.
Penance? Should I be worried?
You're not in any danger, I promise. I can't say the same about me.
Okay. Weird. Not sure I like that. Okay.
Ah, excellent choice. On the double. Hells. May the gods take you first.
Hell yeah!
Got to move.
That is not at all what I wanted. Damn.